Picture this: no DNA, no cameras, no digital footprints, just foggy streets, gas lamps, and crimes so disturbing they made entire cities sleep with the lights on. Welcome to the early 1900s, when evil didn't hide online. It knocked on your door and was right in front of your face. Cases so brutal, clever, and chilling that they reshaped policing, psychology, and fear itself. And fair warning, these aren't campfire stories. These are history's worst habits, documented. With that being said, let's begin. The first crime didn't just terrorize a city full of peace, it traumatized an entire era. In the early 1900s, Chicago was booming. Jazz, factories, ambition everywhere, which made it the perfect hunting ground for a man who treated murder like interior decorating for the city. H.H. Holmes wasn't your average criminal. He was educated, polite, charming, the kind of man you'd trust with your luggage and your life, unfortunately. Holmes built what would later be called the Murder Castle. A hotel designed with secret passages, soundproof rooms, trapdoors, and chutes that dropped victims into the basement like unwanted laundry. Guests would disappear, rooms would be sealed, and Holmes, he'd calmly collect insurance money. This wasn't chaos, this was architecture. What made it especially evil wasn't just the body count, it was the planning. Holmes didn't snap, he designed. He proved something horrifying. Evil doesn't always scream, sometimes it draws blueprints. And just when America thought it had seen the worst, Europe decided to raise the stakes, because while Holmes engineered death indoors, the next killer turned an entire city into his playground. In London's East End, panic spread like smoke. Women were being murdered in the streets, mutilated with surgical precision, and left as public warnings. Introducing Jack the Ripper. He didn't just kill, he performed. Victims were found with organs removed cleanly with precise cuts, suggesting this was someone with medical knowledge. Letters taunted police and newspapers. Crowds gathered at crime scenes like it was a theater playing a mainstream movie. London had gas lamps, but no real clarity. What made this crime truly evil was the uncertainty. No face, no name, no closure. Every shadow felt alive. Every footstep echoed danger. It truly kept everyone on their toes. And here's the kicker: the case was never solved. Jack the Ripper didn't just vanish. He set the gold standard for unsolved terror, which leads us perfectly into the next crime. Because some killers don't want anonymity, they want attention. The next crime didn't hide in the shadows. It hid behind respectability. In New Orleans, a mysterious killer stalked Italian-American neighborhoods. Victims were found brutally attacked in their homes. Doors unlocked, no signs of forced entry. The weapon, an axe. The suspect, no one knew. He became known as the Axeman of New Orleans. And unlike most killers, he made one thing very clear: attention was a need. The Axeman sent letters to newspapers, promising to spare anyone playing jazz music on March 19, 1919. That evening, the entire city erupted into sound. Bars overflowed. Bands played till sunrise. People believed music would save them, and shockingly, no murders occurred that night. Was it coincidence, control, or just psychological warfare? The real horror wasn't the axe. It was the realization that a single letter could make an entire city dance out of fear. And once people learned fear could be orchestrated like that, it didn't stop there. Because sometimes the most evil crimes don't come from killers. They come from silence. In England, a man named George Chapman posed as a devoted husband. In reality, he was quietly poisoning his wives one by one. No rage, no spectacle, just death. Doctors assumed illness. Neighbors assumed tragedy. Chapman assumed he'd get away with it. What made this evil wasn't the method, it was the timing. He let trust do the work. He waited for sympathy to protect him. And here's the chilling part: if one doctor hadn't noticed a pattern, Chapman would have continued indefinitely, which tells you something terrifying about early crime detection. If you weren't loud, if you weren't messy, you could kill for years. Once investigators looked backward, the story unraveled fast. The illnesses, the marriages, the timelines. Suddenly, what looked like tragic coincidence became calculated murder. Chapman wasn't impulsive, he was methodical, and when he was finally convicted and executed, newspapers rushed to label him a monster. But here's the uncomfortable truth: his third wife didn't die quietly enough. Her symptoms lingered. Doctors became uneasy. Someone finally asked the wrong question at the right time. An autopsy revealed arsenic. He knew that poison was invisible in a world without modern forensics, which raises a chilling realization. Chapman didn't succeed because he was brilliant. He succeeded because the system wasn't ready for someone like him. And once criminals learned that quiet patience with evilness could slip through the cracks, the next generation of crimes would force science to catch up, or fail completely. If you want more dark, real stories that expose the hidden history behind fear itself, please like and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.